Long ago, in a small village surrounded by dry fields and dusty roads, there lived a poor girl named Omah. She lived with her mother and father in a tiny wooden house that barely protected them from the rain. Every day, Omah worked harder than anyone else in the village. She carried water from the river, gathered firewood, and helped her parents grow vegetables. Even though life was difficult, Omah always smiled. One year, a terrible drought struck the village. The river became smaller. Crops died. Families struggled to find food. Soon, Omah's family became desperate. One evening after returning from the fields, Omah overheard her parents talking. "We have nothing left," her father said. "If things continue like this, we may not survive the winter," her mother replied. Hearing these words broke Omah's heart. That night, she sat alone outside the house and began to cry. As her tears fell onto the ground, something unbelievable happened. The tears turned into tiny pieces of shining gold. Omah stared at them in shock. She rubbed her eyes and cried again. More golden drops appeared. She could hardly believe what she was seeing. The next morning, she showed the golden pieces to her parents. At first, they thought it was impossible, but when Omah cried again, golden tears rolled down her cheeks. Her parents were speechless. Soon they sold the gold in a nearby town and received more money than they had ever seen before. For the first time in months, there was food on the table. The family felt blessed, but they had no idea that this miracle would soon become a terrible curse. News of Omah's golden tears spread quickly across the village. Neighbors came to see the miracle with their own eyes. Some people admired her, others became jealous. Village leaders began visiting the family's house. Merchants traveled from distant towns. Everyone wanted to see the girl whose tears turned into gold. At first, Omah's parents protected her, but as more money arrived, their hearts slowly changed. They bought new clothes, they repaired their house, then they bought land. Soon they wanted even more. One day, Omah's father said something that shocked her. "If you cry for just a few minutes every day, we can become rich." Omah looked down silently. She did not want to cry, but her father insisted. The next day, they forced her to remember sad memories. She cried. Gold appeared. The family sold it. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Omah cried almost every day. The smile that once brightened her face slowly disappeared. The villagers did not notice her pain. All they saw was gold. The richer the family became, the greedier everyone around them became. Some people even argued over who deserved a share of Omah's tears. Others demanded that she help the entire village become wealthy. The miracle that once brought hope was now bringing fear, and deep inside her heart, Omah felt more alone than ever before. One cold evening, after another day of forced crying, Omah sat alone behind the house. The sky was dark. The wind moved gently through the trees. For the first time in months, nobody was watching her. Nobody was asking her to cry. Nobody was demanding gold. As she looked at the stars, she whispered a question. Why was I given this gift? Suddenly, an old woman appeared from the darkness. Omah had never seen her before. The woman wore simple clothes and carried a wooden walking stick. She sat beside Omah and smiled. "You are unhappy," the old woman said. Omah nodded. "Everyone loves my gold," she replied softly, "but nobody loves me." The old woman listened carefully. Then she said something strange. "Your gift was never meant to create wealth. It was meant to reveal the hearts of people." Omah frowned. "I don't understand." The woman pointed toward the village. "Look carefully. Before the gold appeared, your family had little money, but they had kindness. Now they have riches, but they have forgotten compassion." Omah felt tears forming in her eyes. The old woman continued, "Gold does not change people. It reveals who they truly are." Before Omah could ask another question, the old woman stood up. "The choice is yours, child." Then she disappeared into the darkness. Omah searched everywhere, but the woman was gone. That night, Omah could not sleep. She kept thinking about the mysterious words, and for the first time she realized something important. The real curse was not the golden tears, The real curse was greed. The next morning, wealthy merchants arrived from a distant city. They carried expensive gifts and bags filled with silver coins. Their leader stepped forward. "We have come to make an offer." Omah's parents smiled eagerly. The merchant looked directly at Omah. "We want to take the girl with us. We will pay any price." The room became silent. Omah's heart began to race. She could not believe what she was hearing. The merchants were offering to buy her like an object, like she was not even human. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Omah heard something that shattered her heart. Her father asked, "How much are you willing to pay?" Tears filled her eyes, not because she was forced to cry, but because the people she loved most were willing to sell her. The merchants offered a fortune greater than anything the family had ever seen. The villagers gathered outside, waiting for the decision. Everyone was excited, everyone except Omah. At that moment, she understood the truth completely. The gold had stolen her freedom. It had turned love into business, family into greed, kindness into selfishness. With tears running down her face, she stood up and walked toward the door. Golden drops fell behind her, but this time nobody noticed. Everyone was too busy staring at the pile of money. And as Omah stepped outside, she made a decision that would change her life forever.